Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking 2D, your favorite
What?
podcast for all things animation, illustration, or just whatever the fuck we feel like, honestly. Let's be real. And what we
Yeah.
and usually what we feel like is One Piece, which is our first topic for today. Today's episode, well, the other day's episode was One Piece, episode 992. What you feeling about this one, Bubby?
Well, we're doing a lot of setup right now, which is we're at about that point. A lot of things have to be a lot of things are falling into place, so to
Yeah.
speak, before the raid begins. Yamato has finally, given Luffy the one clue of you can trust me because you remind me of Ace, and suddenly everything Luffy was intending to do was just like,
Like, whoa, hold up. Everything else can wait a second. I'm gonna need you to elaborate just a smidge.
You know my brother? You knew my brother?
Tell me everything.
Yeah. Not a lot of things of note really happened in this episode apart from Robin's act as one of Kaido's crew. It was actually kind of adorable seeing Robin trying to put up a front, but at the same time, you could see the discomfort on her face, and you felt it. You felt it real deep.
Yeah,
Her end.
it's I've loved the running development of her having this because someone had put up on Twitter all the times that she's done this. The first time was in the G8 filler arc, which I love that kind of stuff, where she was in the most control. Then she was a subordinate of Kaido's with the whole sugar operation and stuff like that, where she was in less control, and then here she's just completely at a loss as to what to do. Although I really do enjoy her, I don't know, I guess respectful relationship with the Jinbei. It's just, I don't know, something about it just kind of appeals to me.
See too many people trying to put undertones where they don't belong. So this might have been Oda just trying to put a platonic relationship out there. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, that kind of goes for most of the Straw Hats. I just, aside from the way Sanji acts half of the time, it's just like, I don't really see inter-crew romance going on with any of the Straw Hats, if I'm being real.
Let me rephrase what I mean to say. God. All right, hold on. I got this. I feel like with Robin's experience and Jinbei's experience, the two of them are able to keep a cool head in a rather tense situation. And I'm sure Robin is very much appreciative of that because, let's face it, the rest of the members of the Straw Hats are absolute wild cards.
Yeah, they would have lost their shit on sight at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Luffy and Zoro are prime examples. They've already failed step one, which was do not lose your shit on anybody and blow our cover. Like, they immediately failed step one.
Right. They immediately went running away from where they should have been, which is where everything is currently going on.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how it works out in One Piece. Like I said, the Straw Hats are just a whole group of wild cards. So I think it's what it is you're appreciating is the fact that two members of the crew are actually having a calm, cool, level-headed conversation, and they're, trying to coordinate and come up with strategies. And you know that, these are the two smartest members of the Straw Hats right in front of you.
Yeah, pretty much. People who can plan and act.
They have the most brain cells out of the crew.
Yeah. We also had a pretty wicked moment, which was with when Orochi was giving the whole spiel about Momonosuke's whole story and all that, and how he came into the future and this, that, and the other. But the real moment I really loved was that moment where all of Kaido and his subordinates just roll up behind Orochi and all of their eyes are just glowing red. And I'm just like, oh man, he didn't have to
That
go
shit
that
was
hard.
it was so ominous looking, but it was so good. I feel like maybe they went that hard because they knew like there was going to be not a hell of a whole lot of movement in this episode. Because I'm gonna say it, like everyone was pretty much sort of stationary for the most part.
I mean,
Like
yeah.
you had like subtle movements that you could make whilst in an idle position
Yeah,
for all
there
intents and
really
purposes.
was not much to really do in this episode. The best moments of animation was when Law was transferring him and the Scabbards to
Yes,
Onigashima. Like that was
that was where the budget went for this episode.
yeah. It's just
But
like
god damn, that shit looked cool.
yeah, it's just like save it for an episode where stuff is actually happening. And I'm just like, okay, this really is just an intermediary episode. Like you said, it's set up getting everybody where they need to go. And interestingly enough, it actually covered almost an entire chapter. No half chapters here. It was about 11 pages worth of content.
Nice. So Kiku and Izo's relationship, or sorry, their reunion was actually very wholesome and very.
Yes.
I mean, just the reunion of the Scabbards in general, with like the music playing. See, us manga readers, we look at this and we get a little sad because we know what's about to happen in a year's time for us, about several hours for them.
Yeah, right.
Oof.
But I mean, it's something that kind of was brought to my attention, and it's the fact that in the manga you don't really see up close when Kiku hugs Izo, but from that moment, who would you say is taller, Kiku or Izo?
I thought it was Izo. It looked
Yeah,
like Izo.
yeah. The thing about that, Izo is about 6 foot something.
Uh
Kiku
huh.
is 9 foot something.
What the fuck? What the fuck, guys? Guys, come on! That would have been so much funnier!
I rationalize it as Kiku was probably on her knees, like to hug Izo properly or something like that. Because, I mean, it makes sense, but it was brought to my attention because someone was just like, what? Like, they put a comparison of how big Izo should be and how big Kiku should be. And I'm just like, that's that is a whole lot of woman right there. Oh my goodness. Like it's funnier because it's just like Kiku was gonna be bigger than Izo no matter what, despite the fact that Izo is the big brother in this situation. It's just like I don't know how to feel about that.
I mean, I think it would be just absolutely hilarious.
Because I read a little bit of what happens afterwards, and like Oda doesn't forget that fact. There are several moments where, especially the march to take on Kanjuro, and you see Izo from the back, and you see Kiku from the back, and it's just like, oof, man, Izo looks tiny in comparison to everyone else.
Odd.
Yeah, it's just like, man, Izo was the only one out of the whole group who just did not get more of a growth spurt.
He was the permanent short guy.
Apparently, like, damn. It is kind of wild. But another thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that, from the looks of things, episode 1000 is going to be the episode where the Scabbards take on Kaido. Because next episode is Explosive, the handcuffs that shackle Yamato's freedom, which lines up with, you know, because the episode we had today correlates with chapter 984.
Oh, damn, we're that behind?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes. And going off of the title for next episode, that would be pretty much all of 985 because you can honestly guess from the previews where the episode stops. This one will stop right at the end of this chapter with the whole situation between Kaido and Orochi that everybody's waiting to see.
The first of many.
And episode 994 is titled Scabbard's One-on-One Kikunojo versus Kanjuro.
So this might be the time we get to see a bit of an expansion on Kiku's duel with Kanjuro.
Yes, because that starts in chapter 985, and you see the results of the fight at the very beginning of 986. So at most, the episode covers the entirety of 986, which ends with the raid truly beginning, with all of the Scabbards going after Kaido.
Yeah. Well, they might be able to... Well, let's see. We're on 992 and 993, right?
Of the anime.
Yes. Okay, so...
And 995 is titled Raid, Inheriting the Will of Oden, which corresponds to chapter 987 at most. So, I kind of doubt we're going through 5 episodes and managing to cram in about 13 chapters in all of that.
Fair. They have been dragging it out so that they can buy some more time and, have some more stuff to produce.
Yeah, so at the rate they're going, either we're going to have the battle on the roof with the Scabbards versus Kaido and all of them doing their really cool attacks and stuff, or episode 1000 will be like a special episode.
That's honestly a very strong possibility. I can't put it past them.
Yeah, it's really hard to say sometimes. My bet is there's going to be some kind of special. I would not be surprised.
Well, I guess we'll see as the months go by.
Yeah, basically, because it has been 100 episodes since we've had a filler arc, so they plopped one down in the middle of things, or at least one filler episode. I just really wouldn't be surprised if it ended up becoming some kind of recap, some really big special. Honestly, hold on, let me look up if Detective Conan did anything for its 1000th episode. That's the only other series I know of that actually passed the 1000 episode mark, which is funny because that happened like this year as well. No, it was just business as usual, but Detective Conan's a little bit more flexible. They're currently up to 1019, so...
And people complain One Piece is too long.
Look, I have to commend anyone who has sat through Detective Conan because at least with One Piece, there's a very clear rate of progression. With Detective Conan, it is kind of a hit or miss that you're actually getting actual central story elements.
And how long is it all supposed to take place in the span of, realistically?
About a year or two. Like, I honestly don't think Conan has aged the entire time he's been portrayed.
Well, that's a problem.
And people talk about One Piece having kind of a sliding time scale. Detective Conan is set in the real world, kind of. And at most, it's been a year. Because
this was back in the 90s when this started.
The actual Detective Conan series started being, 1994, it started being published. And Kudo was supposed to be 16 at the start, currently 17. And as Conan, he went from 6 to 7. His adult version is voiced by Usopp's Japanese voice actor.
Oh.
But yeah. Like, people... Like, honestly, my way of consuming Detective Conan is I watch the movies because they're usually really good.
I mean, hey, with a lot of older stuff, they'll usually have a lot. I do mean a lot to choose from. I mean, hell, I started Lupin the Third at Part 4 because that was what came on Adult Swim at the time.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear the announcement of the new Lupin series?
Yeah, I heard about it. I'm like, how are they doing it without Monkey Punch?
Who knows?
Is he just like that? Like, is the character established enough and has like enough of a character Bible that anybody could just pick it up and start writing it as long as they stick to certain guidelines?
I guess it says series will feature Lupin the Third going up against Detective Sherlock Holmes when he's the top suspect in the murder of Dr. Watson.
Someone murdered Watson?
Yeah, ain't that some shit?
Someone fucking murdered Watson? I am so upset right now.
Yeah, check it out and find out who the bastard is. It starts in October.
Holy shit.
So yeah, yeah, Lupin's just been around so long that anybody can kind of pick it up, but I mean, I don't know, man. Monkey Punch was only involved with Lupin that deeply for so long. A lot of things can be attributed to the anime adaptions. If I'm being honest.
So yeah, he is basically a well-established character to the point where anybody can just pick it up and write it. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. Realistically, I am okay with that. You make a character like that, that's how you make a timeless character, in my opinion.
Also, speaking of the two characters, did you ever watch Lupin the Third versus Detective Conan?
No, but I saw it was a thing, and I was very interested, but I never took the time out to do it, because I usually forgot.
Do you think One Piece is ever going to have another crossover like that, like it had with Dragon Ball and Toriko and stuff?
I don't know. They never dubbed the crossover episodes, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's
But
kind of odd. I always thought they were all kind of being dubbed by Funimation, but I guess there were more rights issues than we thought with that kind of stuff.
I suppose so. Plus, you'd have a lot of overlapping actors. I know Ian Sinclair voices Toriko, but he also voices Brooks, so he'd basically be doing double work.
And then you get Beerus in an episode, and it's just like, oof. Everything crosses over.
Yeah. Also, think about how many characters Chris Sabat plays.
Yeah, honestly, I was about to look that up because I'm just like,
Piccolo, Vegeta, Yamcha, Zoro, fucking like, jeez, he's everybody.
like, let's see, Vegito, Piccolo, Yamcha, Shenron, Mr. Popo.
Fucking knew it. I had Popo in the back of my head, but I'm just like, wait, I don't remember. Fucking knew it.
And for One Piece, mostly Zoro.
I figured just Zoro. I don't hear him doing anybody else. Like, not even side characters.
Yeah, not really. If he does, it's very understated. And in terms of Toriko, a very fairly minor character. Not one that I've ever seen in any of the crossovers they've done before, so I could kind of get away with that.
I guess they're just worried about people finding these episodes and thinking, "Is this canon?" It's like, no, it's not canon. It's just a. it didn't really. It's just filler. That's all it is. Just filler.
But yeah, that's about it. I mean, there really was not much to talk about in this episode. Most of the fun stuff is going to happen in like a couple of episodes.
Yeah, everything like I said before, everything's just falling into place. The actors, so to speak, are getting into position for their big performance. Especially the one that was hiding amongst Oden's crew all his fucking life. That actual piece of garbage.
It's going to be very interesting to see how they animate that fight because it's just like, look, if you're going to give me filler, at least make it fight filler. That's the shit I want to see.
This is the time for fight filler.
Yeah.
This really is the time for fight filler. I feel like after this point, we are just going to get, like, I would assume we get dope-ass fight after dope-ass fight, but, you know, they'll probably sparse it in between. Then again, maybe they're holding off for their, like, end-of-year payout, where their budget increases, and then it's like, okay, so we got a lot of fight scenes up ahead. Guess what we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, really,
I mean,
because
that's
yeah.
that's the approach I would take, honestly. Like, I'm noticing that they save exactly one bit of really good animation per episode, and then anywhere else they don't need to go too hard, they don't. Or they'll make it up in some other way. But
that seems to be the way to do it.
Yeah, more or less they're doing it probably the best way you can do it. But I guess I have a very optimistic outlook, and I see it yielding in a lot better shit moving forward. I mean, let's think back to just the beginning of 2021. That was the start of the Oden flashback, and that starts off with the fucking mountain god incident. That shit was movie level quality.
All right.
That shit slapped. That shit slapped the taste out your fucking mouth. I can only imagine the shit we're gonna get moving forward with the series in 2022.
Yeah, it's after we get to, if I'm right about where we end up in episode 1000, it's nothing but action after that point. There's very very few times where nothing is really going on in terms of character interactions, people fighting, battles going on. It's just running and fighting after that point.
Which is realistically what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Like, I always appreciate the build up to the running and fighting, but when we get to the running and fighting, that is when you sit in, grab your popcorn, and if you have a means to get yourself stoned, get yourself plenty stoned, because it's gonna make it even fucking better. Don't do drugs.
Drugs bad, okay.
Drugs bad, okay. No, but if you're an adult, make your own decision. But if you're a kid, don't do fucking drugs.